so much to all the parents and all of the guests and the family. You have something to be proud of with a great group of students right here. So again, thank you, everybody. God bless you. Have a great evening, and it's a privilege of mine to be here this evening with you.
Thank you, Representative Hale. I would now like to present the valedictorian of the class of 2022. It is my pleasure to announce Mr. Seth Hayden Smallwood as valedictorian. Seth will be giving the farewell address.
It was another typical day in Rick Adams' geometry class. He started class with a bell ringer and made several comments about the Game of Thrones series and squirrels. If you're fortunate enough to have had Rick in class or around him enough in the hallways, then the one thing you knew for sure was that Rick didn't like squirrels. But I don't think that Rick disliked squirrels as much as it seemed. I do think, however, that he liked to use squirrels as a metaphor as often as he could. On that day in particular, Rick went about the start of class like normal. Then after we had completed the day's bell ringer, he walked over to the middle of the room and said, "The road of life is paved with flattened squirrels that couldn't make a decision." Then he went back to his desk and sat down. The class erupted in laughter and questions, but Rick simply went about his business grading assignments. On the surface, what he said was definitely funny and out of the ordinary. But if you can look past the surface and apply it to the real world and our daily lives, you should find truth in it. Think of yourself as a squirrel, and the road is life, and then think of the cars and trucks on the road as the problems that we may encounter in life. In order for our class to be successful in solving these problems in life, I think there are three things we have to do. First, we have to listen. Then we have to learn, and ultimately, we have to live. To hear those problems driving towards us, we have to listen. Not just to hear whatever music you may enjoy listening to, but to intentionally and actively listen to others. Be present in the conversations we have with friends and family. Just take a second and think about how many times a week, or day even, do we fail to listen to what we're told? How many times do we say what or huh in our conversations, even though we heard what the other person said? Although you might have heard what they said, your brain wasn't able to process what you heard because you weren't listening. You were in the conversation, but you weren't engaged. I encourage each of you the next time you have a conversation to put your phone away. Remove the biggest distraction from the equation and listen. Listen to your peers, listen to your friends, listen to your family, and listen to strangers. I believe that if we all commit ourselves to being better listeners, we will not only be better equipped to solve problems along our way, but hopefully prevent a few problems or conflicts before they even arise. I know it sounds fairly simple to listen, but it's a powerful tool that we are fortunate to have, and it will serve you well if you learn how to use it. Then, once we begin to listen, we can start learning from what we're told and what we observe. You all might think that's obvious, learning, especially that's what we've been doing or what we were supposed to be doing for the past 12 years. I'm not referring to learning state standards in algebra or learning how to write a DBQ essay that even Mr. Eaglin would be proud of. I'll use a term that I heard a high school teacher from Frankfurt use recently. Mr. Zinner used the term lifelong learner. No, that doesn't mean that you have to go to school for the rest of your life. It means that as you go through life, you have to be willing to learn from others, whether that's learning about a skill or hobby you're passionate about, learning from our parents or grandparents about the way things used to be, or learning new perspectives or ideas on issues. If we all can put forth extra effort to learn from our elders, learn about experiences they had, we can better be prepared for similar situations in our lives. If we can put forth effort to learn about things that interest us, we can be capable of passing on the knowledge that we gain to our peers and future generations. If we can put forth effort to learn from each other, we can better develop an understanding of the world around us. So now that we know how to listen and we've started to learn, we have to live. Of the 3 points, this one, in my opinion, is the hardest to understand and convey. Although this speech is directed towards the graduating class, this last point can be applied to each and every one in here, no matter what phase of life you may be in. Something I've heard on a regular basis from several of my peers this past year, not just here at Menifee, is a phrase regarding their future. I just want to live life. I just want to live life. I have several thoughts and reactions to that, but my first thought usually when I hear that is that it's empty. That's not true in every case, of course, but mostly I feel it lacks purpose. I think that as a class, as a community, we need to redefine the word live. No longer does it need to mean experience the things of this world only to be lost when we pass on, but instead it needs to mean to have an intentional purpose and direction in life. Whether that purpose is one that is spiritual, being a leader in your community, or being a supporter of a cause, I encourage everyone to find purpose in life. To conclude, class of 2022, as we transition into our adult lives, I offer 3 points of advice to each of you, so that you may traverse the roads of life without being flattened like a swirl along the way. I encourage you all to be intentional listeners, lifelong learners, and then use what you hear and learn to find purpose and direction in life. No matter what path you choose, if you commit yourself to do those 3 things, then you will be able to be decisive in your actions and words. Class of 2022, congratulations and good luck. Thank you.